Chapter 53. Our motel football match was the talk of my school the next day. "You think they're going to win?" my classmates asked me in PE. "How was their stamina? I heard their striker is tiny." "She's phenomenal," I corrected them. When Mr. Antwell put me on opposite team as Bethany again, she whined. "It's unfair. Mia has been training with professionals." "I thought you said they were trash," I reminded her. "They are trash," she shot back, "but they're like professional trash." I rolled my eyes. Whatever. "So, what do you think are their chances?" Stuart asked me as we hustled towards the other side of the field. "I bet my cousin $15 they're toast. Should I change it?" "Oh, yeah." I leaned over and gave him some advice. "Never bet against a Chinese girl." I said it so loud and clear so all my classmates could hear. Then I took off, running full speed towards the ball. The next day, I massaged my calves in the car on the way to CBS Studios. Now that I was putting more effort into my PE classes, I could feel my muscles growing. Dad drove while Mom gave him directions. "Take a left up here," she said. Dad put on his blinker. "You ready for your first Mats Cup as the official coach?" he asked her. Mom nodded, patting her bulky purse. "Got all my pronunciation cards right here," she said, in case the other coaches tried to out-English me. I looked over and saw the huge stack of flashcards she'd made when she first started out as a substitute teacher. She hadn't used them for a few months, but now she held the cards tightly like a life jacket. "You're going to do great, Mom." She smiled at me. "I'm driving the team over with Allie's mom. She's staying for the competition." "Oh, good," I said. "I'm glad she doesn't have to work this time. Allie is so brilliant, her mom should see her in action. And if those Centilla people try out any more nonsense, I'm going to pull a red card on them," Mom said, whipping out a bold red card from her purse. In big black letters, it read, "Unacceptable." I burst out laughing and gave Mom a thumbs up, glad she was willing to call out what Mr. Jammer refused to even acknowledge. Next, Mom pulled out her tumbler out of her bag and held it out to me. "Try this. It'll give you energy for the big interview. I made it with banana and coconut water." I leaned over for a sip. I said, "Very refreshing." "It's good, isn't it? Not quite a smoothie," Mom looked down, "but it'll do for now." I nodded. None of us had mentioned one word about the house since we left Maple Hills. "All right, here we are," Dad said, pulling into the CBS lot. "Are you guys ready?" I nodded eagerly and opened the door. No biggie, I told myself, even though it was my first time translating and I was going to be on TV. I can definitely do this. As my parents and I hurried towards the building, I dried my sweaty hands on my pants. My mind started reeling at the thought of many Chinese words I didn't know. All those traffic jams and words crashes into my head whenever I didn't know how to describe something in Mandarin. Was I really the right person for the job? Maybe they should have gone with an actual translator. But I pushed my doubts aside as I walked into the studio and spotted the players. They shook their heads profusely at the producers, refusing any makeup. Yao Hong held up a hand, shielding her eyes from the blinding studio lights as she studied the set. "Hey," I said as I ran up to them. "You ready?" "I don't know," Suen said. "You think this is a good idea? Maybe we can still back out." They looked more nervous than me, and for a good reason. I knew exactly the butterflies in their stomachs. They were the same butterflies I got whenever I wrote a really personal column, or told Bethany Brett I wasn't going to put up with her calling me names. And every single time I ignored those butterflies and kept moving. The world had rewarded me in ways I could never expect it. "Listen, this is going to be exactly like at dinner," I told the players. "Pretend that's just a big chunk of cheese." I pointed to the giant moving camera. Or better yet, a giant juicy duck. That got a smile out of Gao Hong. "I pretend the interviewer is just one of the weeklies," I added. I love the weeklies, Gao Hong said. Can we play the interview too afterward? Su Wen joked. Sure, I giggled. We'll use the camera light as the goalpost. One of the producers, Tim, walked over and asked if we were ready. Mum whooped with joy when she saw who was interviewing the team. Leanne Johnson. She was a wonderful black journalist known for her thought-provoking questions. She was Mom's favorite journalist on TV. The hair and makeup person walked over again and again. Just a touch of foundation, smell out some of those splotches of sun, she asked. Su Wen reached up a hand to touch her face. That's just our skin, I informed the makeup artist. We look great just the way we are. I beamed at Su Wen, who let her hand drop so she could wear her sunspots proudly. She nodded to her team. Tim, the producer, smiled. Come on, let's go. I can tell this is going to be a wonderful interview. He gestured us to sit on the couch. I sat the closest to Leanne, who introduced herself to the players as a big fan. As the lights changed and the camera started rolling, Leanne turned to Su Wen and began. So, you're about to play the biggest match in the women's football that's ever happened. How do you feel? Su Wen replied in Chinese, and I translated with a thrill. I feel like I can finally tell 10-year-old me that your dreams aren't crazy. Leanne laughed. They certainly aren't. She leaned in. Take me back to the 10-year-old girl. What was it like growing up in China? The women gazed at one another, nostalgia washing over them as they relayed their earliest memories, and I translated. The producer was right. This was going to be a wonderful interview.